Well, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Henry. So here I am in lower Nicola Thompson Valley, driving towards a lake that I know about. There's dozens of lakes up here, probably more than that. Problem is that so we're driving okay. There's not much snow on the road at all. This is easy driving. Problem is that this snowbank, all of the side roads going into the lakes, unless it's been serviced or clear previously, not going to be able to get into the campsite. So I'm going to head back lower into the valley. There's another spot that I know about that's riverside that hopefully is going to be grab a spot for the night, coming out for a couple of nights to enjoy ourselves. All right, let's see what I can find. Damn it, looks like the locals, property owner, whatever, don't want people in here. They backhoed a ditch. Got a rock and a giant ditch. Damn it, because it's a beautiful little spot down there. It's in there, but obviously we have no way of getting in. So we're here and I'm just looking for some options, and it looks like at the end of the road that we're on, there's actually a recreation site. Guess we better go check it out because my number one choice is no longer there. Shoot. So just waiting for Otto to turn around. Pretty skinny road. So just waiting for Otto to turn around, and then we'll go back, and there's a couple of spots, not super ideal, but it's on the side of the road. Oh, there's somebody coming up behind us. All right, so this guy actually was coming up behind us, and he was honking, so I stopped, and I guess the guy goes, you turned too early. there's a brand new campground at the end that they just did. They came through the bulldozer in the last couple of years and actually cleared this road. This road was never here before or whatever, and there's like a brand new picnic table, blah blah blah, and all that stuff down at the end. So all right, but we can't turn around here. Like, we just found the only spot we could turn around to go back towards town. So now we got to go back out, find a different spot, and turn around and go back inward towards the inside of the canyon here. Well, there we go. We got camp all set up. Wasn't too hard. The ground is really lumpy, like, so I was trying to find a spot that's flat enough that we can level it out with the Max Trax. Got one under each of the front wheel. It's pretty level. So this is a really big area, actually. Goes down like several hundred meters, and but it's all the same thing, really lumpy and not really river access on this side. The other side is this bluff that I came down right here. There's a flat area by the water, but we just weren't comfortable driving our vehicles down. So man, we've been picking up since I've been down here. I've been picking up shotgun shells, probably a dozen by now. Just a crap load of broken beer bottles. Picked it all up so my dogs don't cut their paws. Wish people wouldn't litter. What are you gonna do, right? But this is pretty. Water's right there. Right there. Man, you can feel that Merit heat during the day. I'm sure in the evening it'll cool off because it's still springtime, early spring. I'm glad this worked out because I didn't even know this was here. I drove into this area in 2019. This site wasn't here. This road wasn't here. So yeah, it's all new. Man, what a beautiful day. A little bit of driving. First spot, we didn't feel we could break through the snowbank to get to the campsite, and then the second one, as it turned out, was actually private land, and I guess the guy that owns the land decided he's had enough and shut the place down. So we ended up here. Not too shabby. Look at that, eh? We just had our dinner over the fire, and just made some burgers over the fire and had a nice salad. Oh man, what a beautiful day. I'm pretty sure it was raining in Vancouver when we left, and now we're in a desert. So I think it'll get cold tonight, but brilliant blue sky. Everything's so beautiful up here.
Here we are, on the edge of mystery. We long for a life of new discovery. Focus our eyes on the journey, stepping into the unknown, waving goodbye to our worry, and we're ready to go. We're here we go, dive into the great unknown. Has stories waiting to be told. The earth is bursting with color, our hearts are open wide. The stars glow in wonder, we are so.
Good morning, everybody. Woke up to hail. The roof of the pop-up camper is just a thin sheet of aluminum. I think it's aluminum. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's aluminum. And so you can hear things hitting the roof pretty good. So it's like, oh, that sounds like hail. So I got up and put away a few things out, like chairs and stuff we just had out, and it just kind of lightly just continued hailing. Obviously, it's not really sticking to the ground, but I think you can see, right? It's hitting me in the face right now. But yeah, a little bit cooler. This is like camping in the desert. This is what happens. You can get wind, you can get a lot of sun, obviously, and you get cold, and you can get hail and snow for right in the shoulder season. Like right now, it's spring or early spring, I think I mentioned. So is this your first time or whatever collecting firewood? If you don't have like huge splitting mauls with you, like don't take down massive things. What would be helpful for you is things that are like forearm size, like these guys right here, or even bicep size that'll burn nicely. These guys here, sort of your wrist size down to thumb size, is really good for starting fire. Get it going, and you start with the little guys and then work your way up to the ones that actually stay lit. So when I come to a site like this, what I'm looking for is actual dead trees that's been seasoned more or less off the ground. So these guys here, the bark, you can probably see that, is stripped off. Or not stripped off, but has fallen off. And it's suspended off the ground. This piece is suspended, that piece, this one right here is suspended, and this one here is suspended. So I'll take these guys over anything else that's actually laying on the ground that's obviously dead. So for example, this larger piece here, even though it's obviously dead, it's sitting on the ground, and what it's doing is actually soaking up the water, any kind of moisture, and also this whole area was buried in snow a little while ago. So what happens, that ground is keeping that piece of wood damp. So when you're collecting wood, and right now there's just a ton of stuff around here that you can take without actually cutting anything down, and that piece that I just showed you there will be more damp, just a little bit, and it's harder to keep lit, and you have to put more wood on the fire just to get it going to a furnace temperature where it doesn't matter what you put on it. You can put green wood on it, you can put soaking wet wood on it. Once it reaches a certain level, yeah, it doesn't matter, everything's going to get burned. But if you're trying to keep a small fire, because for either survival reason or just camp etiquette, keeping a small fire just as big as you need it to be for ambiance, for cooking, heat, whatever, conservation of firewood, then you want to try to avoid wood that's sitting in touch with the ground, like physically touching the ground. This piece here is what would it's actually a dead standing, so it's rooted, and it actually died. It just fell against that tree right there. This is probably one of my favorite pieces to take because all of the moisture is actually draining downwards, so this thing will be just absolutely bone dry regardless if it's raining too much or whatever, or is drier than these pieces laying horizontally on the ground. The problem with these guys here is often at the very top, because remember, these things are super brittle and dead. So what happens is, as you're taking that tree down, things will snap off and come crashing down. So things that are big enough, if you take down a bigger one, this guy is pretty tiny, but if you're taking down a bigger one, potentially a branch will snap off and actually come down and hit you in the head. So those are called widow makers. So you want to always be aware of widow makers, and what you want to do before you start taking down something like this is just give it a super hard shake to see what comes down. Man, I can hear it. That wood is brittle. It is bone dry. That would be like my first one to take compared to anything else over here. And the last part of this is try to walk away a little bit from camp. There's a place I go to, Skagit, a lot. I've done several videos in Skagit actually, and it's always the same. I go to these, and those are legit crown land, and yeah, you can cut down pretty much like almost anything. It's in between provincial parks. Like, it's very obvious the entire campground is completely stripped of burnable wood, right? Like, there's nothing, and to the point where people are starting to cut down the live green, or things kind of look semi-dead, and they don't realize, well, it's not dead, it's just not, it hasn't bloomed for the season yet, right? You know, so it's not an evergreen. So what I do is I walk across the road, and there's dead standing like everywhere. There's beautiful blowdowns, bone dry, perfectly good firewood, but it's just across the road. So sometimes take that effort, just go, you know what, like, I'm not going to cut down something that looks suspect, damage a tree, and just go across the road. Like, there's tons of wood there, right? So make that little bit of effort. It's totally worth it, trust me. Well, the snow's coming down harder now. I think I'll wrap this one up. We got to cross the Coquihalla to get home today. Otto and Karen was going to stay an extra day, but they were going to see what the weather looked like today. I don't think they'll stay because they've got, their tires aren't as good as mine, and I don't think they want to be stuck here. I think they're going to leave as well. So we got to hoof it across the Coke. So I think I'll pack up early and hit the road early. All right, guys, thanks very much for sticking with me. All right, cheers, guys.